There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, we unite. Yeah, yeah, when we unite. Yeah, yeah. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here.
Nappy free. I like that. If you're not in the chat room, then you don't know what I'm talking about. It's so good to be here today, to now, to this moment. I'm still trying to figure out nappy free, but I think I know who it is. And I'm glad that you found me. Good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, and good day to you wherever you are at this very moment in time. Thank you for tuning in to yourself and tuning into Ade Presents Being You, the podcast. And as you tune in, you listen, you're guaranteed to be transformed. Transformation is looking for open space, a channel. I am Ade, or I am Adi, your transformational beingness artist. Welcome to another episode of Ade Presents Being You, the journey back to yourself. I want to invite you to like and share, to spread the word because you can. Let's share the word and spread the word. Yeah, share the word, share the truth. Yes, nappy free. I like that. Yes, you're free from all the BS. Bahati, my dear sister, nice to see you. Jackie, nice to see you. Yeah, Nappy, you say good to see you. Yeah, kind of see you, but I don't see you. I just see your name. You see me, so let me be careful what I do. Let me move this mic out of the way. I don't want to. Okay, well, we're just going to leave that the way it is. And those of you on IG, thank you for being here. I'm running 2 accounts. If I'm looking over here and looking over there, those of you on Facebook and YouTube don't have to say, why is he looking over there? What's he looking for? I got a phone here and a phone here. Good to see you, Ashley. And good to see you, Bahati. I can feel the energy of this conversation. I'm full already. I love how just the process. Anyway, let me keep going because I am ready. So as I said, feel free to like the show and spread it. And of course, if you're on YouTube over here, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. I'm building. We're multiplying the numbers because we can. Spreading it, tell people about the work, tell people about what is happening, giving people an opportunity to remember who they are. And how do you remember who you are? There are many ways to do that. One way is to just stop and drop into yourself and roll and embrace the truth that you are present, you are here and now. Lori, nice to see you. How's your sister doing? I am present, I am here, I am now. Are you present? Are you here? Are you now? Because you are. When you represent your ancestors, you will know that you're present. They present you for this moment. You realize, yes, I am here, so no point worrying about the future. And I am here to carry forward what was done in the past. Though my ancestors are not in the past, they're right here with me. In fact, they are the reason I exist. And when you get that, when you embody that, when it goes beyond just intellect and it sinks in, you realize now is the most important time. That you are now. You are the future of your past. You are the future. As the ancestors, they casted you forward. They projected you forward. So you are their future. And they're living through and as you. Season 4, episode 11. Today's Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. It's still Women's History Month. And we recognize the women in our lives. And as we not just recognize and remember women, but remembering the power, the gift, the blessing of honoring that feminine aspect of us. Yes, in the human realm, we recognize that women are not often given credit for the work, for their existence. There's this mental dis-ease, an intellectual misalignment that happened whenever it happened, whatever caused it to happen, that made man think he's number one and he's superior. And that's not just about white men. That plays out a certain way. Men in general. So yes, we're dealing with white supremacy, but we're living in a society where we're also dealing with male supremacy. Have you noticed that most of the teachers, prophets in the common culture only refers to a man, Jesus, a man, Muhammad, a man, the Buddha? Well, the Buddha is not his name. The Buddha means the enlightened one. The Christ means the enlightened one. I can't remember Buddha's name. Google it. Even Martin Luther King, Mandela, his wife. I don't know about the young guy, what they said happened to him, he was killed. But women are often erased. And it's all down to supremacy. It's all down to supremacy. Nappy free, I'm going to speak to that in a minute. Sexism is alive. I want to say the lack of understanding as well, but it's not the lack of understanding. I feel in me that it was intentional to erase the feminine energy, intentional to erase people of color. It's intentional to erase anything that expresses the feminine power. So whether it's through the Bible or through the Quran, through culture or tradition where women is seen as less than, it's actually a fear, I believe, is a fear of the power of the feminine. One of the common creation story is a creation story in the Bible. But if you do your research and Google creation stories, you will find that different countries, different continents, different regions have their own creation stories. And it often starts with an egg. I just feel like the egg is female. But here's the thing. It's the egg and the chicken, the egg and the sperm, it's really the duality of oneness. These two things, energy that seems like they're different, is all part of the one, just like your brain. Thank you, Jackie. It's all part of your brain. It's one brain. You have one brain. And then sometimes it tells us we have three brains. The lizard brain, what's the other one? The front brain and the middle brain. You can even say, oh, look, I got 10 fingers. Okay. But they're all part of this one body. All part of the one. So there's stories about the Bible was written. There's politics, all about politics, and there are many versions to the Bible. I'm talking about the Bible because that's the religion that's very popular. Well, in the West anyway. And there's the stories, there's the mindset, there's the conditioning that if you're not in alignment with that, then you're out of alignment with the divine, which is a lie. There are many ways. All roads lead to God. God is so much more than Christianity. God is so much more than the Bible. God is so much more than the Bhagavad Gita. God is so much more than nature. So much more than anything we could ever think about. Being You the podcast is an invitation to rise in consciousness and ask yourself, how do I see myself in the midst of this all? How do I see the world? How do I see myself in the world? And how do I see the world in me? When you ask yourself, who am I? How do I see myself? How do I see what is my role in this world, in this lifetime? Why am I here? What am I here to do? And is the world in me? How is that even possible? When you start asking questions like that, you give yourself an opportunity to represent your ancestors in a whole new way. You are in your ancestors and your ancestors are in you. So let me go to the question that well, let me see if there's anything. Yeah, I'm pretty much ready. Well, no, let me see. Let me start from the beginning in this moment, because the beginning wasn't a point. Before the beginning, there was another beginning. Speaking of the Bible, in the beginning, it's a moment in time. So right now, if I say, let me start from the beginning, this is the beginning. But some people might say, wait a minute, but you started 15 minutes ago. No, right now is the beginning. 15 minutes ago was the beginning. Now it's a new beginning. So there is no beginning. There is no end. There is no beginning to you, and there is no end to you. So my new beginning, if you want to try that on, is I've shared maybe on 2 episodes now, just knowing that my ancestors are guiding me to pronounce my name correctly. When I moved back here from Nigeria, I don't even know what happened. I can't remember. It wasn't. I don't think it's a conscious thing. What when I look back, I know that when I came back to UK in 1986, there were stereotypes that I knew the West had about the continent of Africa and people from Africa. I did not want to be a part of that stereotype. So I consciously, in a sort of subtle kind of way, no, I didn't want people to know I was Nigerian. I didn't even have Nigerian friends, only the friends that my brother had that was around him. And it's almost like a conscious, unconscious way of being. I didn't say, I am never going to have a Nigerian friend. It was just a subtle thought. So, because I did not want to identify. I didn't want to be seen as a stereotype and seen as less than. I remember when I came back here, was 1984 with my sister, my mom. We went to a park in here, meaning UK. And one little boy, I must have been, I don't know. Well, so in '86, you all can do the math now. In 1986, I was just turning 18, March 28th. Actually, I haven't really promoted this month like I used to, but you guys already know that March is the most important month of the year. Now, sometimes I'm kind of generous and allow April to be part of it, Jackie. But anyway, so 86 means I was around 16. And I remember my sister and I, we were at a park, and this little white boy, we were playing, climbing, whatever we're climbing. And it wasn't monkey bars. I couldn't resist that. I don't remember what it was. We were just playing around. And he said, is it true that in Africa, you guys live on trees? Inside of my head, I was like, really? That's what we're doing? No, I didn't really say that. That's what we're doing happened when I went to America. But that's a whole different conversation. But I was shocked. I was shocked as well. How dumb are you? You know what I did? I said, yep, we live on trees. Really? I said, yes. I said, so when we want to go visit our friends, we swing from one branch to another. Oh my gosh. His eyes, I was like, yes. We jump from one tree to another. And he believed it. And in my mind, I'm like, if you're dumb enough to ask that dumbass question, where you supposedly live in the first world, which really isn't. That's another brainwash calling the West the first world. First means the one that came before. The Western world is not the first world. I don't care what you say. Look, Google it. It came about during the war. And who's supporting who? Whole lot of rubbish. And they have the guts. I'm digressing. I'll come back to the little boy who didn't know no better. To call the continent or places that they call impoverished. While you went over there, oh, I am representing my ancestors. I'm gonna let it be. Went over there and still go over there and take stuff. I'm hearing some other words that I don't want to speak right now. Get it, your. If any country is developing, it's the West. A country that decides to say it's the leader of the world based on its military power. based from a war consciousness. And then you tell us we're one. You steal from other country, put it in your museum, and then you're asked to put it back. You're told to take it back, and you're like, well, we don't know if we want to take it back. Well, we know it's not ours, but if we take it back, they're not going to take care of it. You stole the damn thing. So anyway, this little white boy, his relative, asked me if we lived on trees, and I said yes, because I decided if you're dumb, you're going to stay dumb. Whoever told you that lie, and the horse that you rode in with, I'm happy for you guys to stay dumb. So anyway, there were things that I did that were in alignment with my decision not to be seen as the stereotypical Nigerian that people had that I didn't like. So along the way, over here, when people call me, here in UK, again, for those of you who may not know, when people say, Adi is kind of like, oh, that's like, okay, you just, because when you call me AD, oh no, that's just a no-no. So I have friends who say, Ade, just different things. Anyway, I shared this, I think I don't know when actually, no. I think I had a guest last time I shared this. And I tell people there's several acceptable pronunciation. There are many pronunciations that I can go with, and some is just a no-no. Anyway, I've been working with really pronouncing it correctly because names matter to me. Names have meaning. And I like to know people's names. I ask people, what does it mean? And sometimes I meet people from other places in Africa and they say, oh, it doesn't mean anything. I'm like, stop. Just stop right there. Or people who say to me, oh, my name is whatever. Just call me Jeff. No, we ain't doing that. Even though I'm doing it by saying, Ade. Well, I'm not saying call me Andy, but I'm not even comparing. Just like call me by my name. But what's in the name? What's in the name is the energy. It's the vibration, it's the hook that connects you to your ancestors. So I'm in this phase where I'm really allowing myself to represent my ancestors in a new way. Right now. So, and there's some people trying to pronounce my name correctly and they're still jacking it up, but they really think they're saying it correctly. And we're on a meeting, so I don't want to say, I'm like, oh, Jesus. Because when people mess your name up, it's not a good feeling. All right, let me go back to a question here before I forget. So, Nappy Free said, I'm confused. Stop right there. Yes, remember the young ones who will become honorable women. Indeed. I'm feeling so much, so I'm really going to pace myself. Because I'm going to tell you the shift that's happening in my work, which is really not a shift. It's just bringing more clarity to it. Nappy Free said, I am confused. Did you say the ancestors sent me here at this time? Can you explain? That's what I said. I said what I said. That's what I said. Yes. Yes. They sent you to be here, right now. And you can look at that in many ways. But I'm going to try and keep it simple. Their life, they passed life on to you. So those of you on IG won't see this image, but it's on my feed. And it's the image of, if you track the generations before you, and it shows the numbers. It's gonna only show up on YouTube and Facebook. So Nappy Free, think about it. There's an image now on screen. It's gonna go up, but I'll bring it back up. I should have changed the time, but I didn't. So I don't even know if I can pause this. So 2 parents, your parents, Nappy Free, then your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-great-great-grandparents. Just keep going back. Keep going back. Keep going back. I'm going to bring it up one more time. But how far back can you go? I don't know. Did all my ancestors come from Nigeria? I don't know. Was it called Nigeria? In fact, I think it's a white woman to name that land Nigeria. So, how far can I go? I don't know. But what I know is, based on, if we just stop here, if I go back 12 generations, there are 496 ancestors that came together for me to be here today. We're not talking about who they're connected to. We're not talking about their brothers and sisters. Just them. 496 people came together over the years for me to be here today, for you to be here today. And they passed life on to you. Hey, Kimmy. They passed life on to you. So their dreams, their visions, their struggles, their trauma, their pain, their vision and indecision, they passed it on to you. Their genes and DNA, they passed it on to you. And they kept passing it on. And as you moved on from generation to generation, it shifted, changed. And now you're the fullness of all that your ancestors weren't. You live in a time now, as your ancestors, where you can make a different choice. You live in a time now where you can actually remember how they lived before iPhones and Android, before we had AI. So when you have some issues and you go customer support and you go, AI, in few words, tell us what your problem is. And you're just like, representative, I don't understand that. Like, shut up, you give me a human being. But you are part of ancestors who can tune into their own customer service agent, which is within them. They can look to nature to get the support. Now, I'm not saying back then is better than the time we're living now, because sometimes we do that. We just need to go back to the good old days. You don't even know. You were a life that was floating through beings that navigated the life that they saw as the best and wished for more. So going back to the good old days, nothing goes back in life. You can't go back to the old. You can't wear an old outfit. I'm talking specifically something that's small and now you've outgrown it. Nature doesn't go back. Everything moves forward. Everything is evolving and revolving. And with every movement forward, life is passed on. So yes, you are the dream of your ancestors. You are the vision. Nappy and all of us. Nappy says, sexism is alive and well, even in spiritual circles. Indeed. Wherever you are, there you go. That's just because you're a minister, a teacher, a healer, an intuitive, a medium, a tarot card reader who can just tap in just like that and pull down information doesn't mean you ain't human. We still have, oh yeah, my alarms are gonna keep going off because I set them around this time. Normally, because the time is changing in America, next week I'll be back in sync. So just bear with all the noise that you hear. Just because you know so much, you can be a leader, you can be a teacher who is focusing and wishing for a better world, and you still bring your own bias, your own judgment. Yes. An egg is the place where life begins. So as we know an egg to be right now, we can think of eggs that we buy from the store or from the animals who lay eggs. However, what if the eggs that we know is a metaphor for the beginning of life? There is an aspect of life that is unknowable with your intellect. There is a mystery to this thing called life. And when we ignore the mysteries of life, When we pretend that we know it all, we disconnect ourselves from our life, the truth, the life that is living itself as us, the life that we call God, the life that we call Buddha, the life that we call the universe. I have to do this to kind of calm myself down. Not necessarily calm myself down, but I just feel so much. And I'll tell you part of what is shifting in my work as well. Because I am a channel. I know that. And maybe I should just not even calm myself down. I should just allow myself to go. Maybe that's my intellect, my ego mind trying to kind of like take it down a notch. All right, let's see what I can do without trying to calm myself down. Let's see what happens. Orisha Bukala said, I agree. I don't like it when African descended people say that. Yes, that's the first world and the third world. Yes, I'm with you. Yeah, and yes, nappy free. My birthday is March 28th. Thank you, Jackie, for posting that. And there's some. Let me look at the comments in here before I move forward. Kim, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in there too. I'm happy to address it. So Nappy said, I'm calling it nap. Oh, napping free. I keep saying nappy free. Or maybe, I know, maybe it's nappy and free. But whatever it is, you're free. You're happy. Okay, she said, so a few years ago, actually in 2000, I was given an African name, Nyla. You're the successful one. Nyla, one who preserves and succeed. Indeed. Yes. So does that work for you? Does that align? Do you find yourself living that truth that you preserve and you succeed? You can't help but preserve. You can't help but succeed because you're successful. We are all successful. Anitra, you said, Anitra said, I'd like to have a conversation about what they passed on. So are you saying you want me to say more about it? Or you say you want to have a conversation outside of here? Or what? I don't know. And Nappy and Free said, that's what I'm going to say. Nappy and Free said, whoa, okay, I got it now. That I carry their DNA and I am their dreams fulfilled, powerful. Yes, you carry their DNA and you also carry their soul signature. The past, what they passed on to us. Let's be real basic here. When people see me, they say, woo, you are your father's son. So I got his features. When I show up, people, and I'm like, I don't say, I say it now. The older I get, the more I'm like, oh my God, I look like my dad. Oh my God, I look like my dad. Oh, interesting. I look like my dad. And I see myself in my brother as well. So let's just start with the features. If they can pass the features, yeah, nice to see you. Thank you, Kimmy. First time here. Nice to see you. If they can pass features onto you, then what else did they pass on to you? Could they pass on their memories to you? The memories they had, their experiences, the things that they were carrying? Why is it that a child knows exactly when to start walking? Because the body carries memory. There's a memory in the body for what the legs do. We know what to do because there is, we say, cell memory, muscle memory. There's a spiritual memory. So sometimes when we think, oh my God, I just downloaded this great idea. It's my idea. Well, is it? Or maybe it was passed down to you, or maybe you opened yourself enough to hear something that was already there. So when I show up, if I was in Nigeria, in the neighborhood in Nigeria where my father lived, well, I mean, he's here now in UK. It's not like he's gone. I'm sure people will look at me and say, "Oh, I know who your father is," because they're looking at the external, and what's on the outside is on the inside. I remember Michael Beckwith saying, "You have eyes. You don't see because you have eyes." All the reminders you're going to hear, and I can't even cuss them out right now. Next week, I won't have to worry about this because the time will change in UK, and then I'm back in alignment with the Eastern time in America. Well, back in time Eastern, Pacific, and Mountain time. I don't know. Y'all know what I mean. Michael Beckwith saying, "You don't see because you have eyes. You have eyes because you can see." The physical eyes is representing the fact that you as a spiritual being can see. You have ears because you can hear. You have legs because you can move. Everything in the physical is represented as an extension of the invisible. You are a physical representation of the invisible. What does God look like? What does God look like? Like you, like me, like us. That's too much for some people. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was feeling you until you said that. That's doing too much. You're being extra. You don't have to take my words for it. The only thing I would say to you is, whatever your understanding is of God, live it. I would say that if your understanding of your God means to put other people down, hey, y'all do what you're doing, but I don't want nothing to do with it. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So your life itself is a representation of all those who came before you. I was saying I was trying to calm myself down and actually said, "You're safe here. Let it be, Ade." Thank you, my dear sister. I appreciate you. Yep, I'm getting all this. You know, it's funny that we're having this conversation, talking about representing your ancestors. So representing your ancestors is actually, I'm going to go back and forth for a minute, and hopefully you can follow me. Representing your ancestors actually come from what I call a dream vision called representing our ancestors, representing our stories. When you represent your ancestors, when you start to understand there were people who came before you, and they came from whether you know them, whether you feel like you've been disconnected, you live in America, you live in UK, and you don't even have history, there's something that's so true that you can't change it. That what happened, the history, the trauma, cannot disconnect you from your ancestors. They live in you. So I've heard people say, well, what if you don't know your ancestors? What does that mean? Even if you know your great, 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 great grandparents, and for my brothers and sisters in America, even if you can track your ancestors back to Africa or wherever, there's going to come a point in this journey where you don't know those who came before you. I understand the confusion that happens for us sometimes. Because even while I was teaching this message, and sometimes I have said out loud, no, let me back up. I have taught and said, you don't have to know them by face or by name to know that you're connected to them. And it's something that I shared with another white woman, a dear friend of mine, and we do interplay work, and we were doing something around ancestors, and I had spiritual amnesia. And I'm like, well, people in America, when they look at Louis, how did that even happen? Louis Henry Gates, I can't remember the name of the show on PBS, and he can track people's grandparents down the 8th generation, 10th generation, if they enslaved Africans, or if they weren't, and maybe they were enslaved. He can track their story. Sometimes even have pictures or maybe a name. And I was saying, I don't even have that. And this same woman that I told that it doesn't matter if you know their name was saying, but I remember you telling me that it doesn't matter if you know their name or if you're still connected. And in a moment, it was just like, psh, when your truth come back and smack you in the face. Everything is connected. There is no disconnection. The only disconnection there is us thinking the disconnection. And when we think there is a disconnection, that causes a dis-ease. There's a dis-ease because we feel disconnected. You're always connected. You may not feel like it. You may not even know what that's like, but you're always connected. I'm trying to keep up. Yeah, finding your roots. Thank you, Jackie. When you take time to just if this is new information to you, something that you're looking into, just take a moment. I'm going to flash this in one more time, and just this generational story of those who came before you. It stops at 12, but you can keep going back. You can keep going back and keep going back and keep going back. Your ancestors, if you could sit down long enough and say, I'm going to calculate them because, okay, there was my mother, 2, and then my grandparents, 4, and then my great-grandparents, 16, and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. And you just give yourself the rest of the week to just keep multiplying. Where are you going to end up? You're going to end up at infinity. I've shared this before. What is infinity? We say God is the infinite. If God is the infinite, maybe God is the ancestor. Maybe what we call an ancestors, they're just a representation of the divine. So when you represent your ancestors, you're representing God on earth. You're representing God on earth. So what does God look like? Like you, like me, like us. Okay. Let me tell you what I've been trying to tell. Well, I've been telling you what I'm trying to tell you and what I'm telling you. See, I've been like, this is going to sound like boasting, but that's not what I mean. I've been doing this work a long time. I was doing it when I didn't even know. And I got very clear that my work, well, it was at a time in Atlanta at Hillside International Truth Center. I was going on a weekly basis, almost every day, because there was always a class. There's always a lesson, always. And I made sure I was there. Because what I was receiving, what I was hearing, just made sense. It didn't just make sense, it made soul. It made spirit come alive. It's like, yes, I didn't know other people believed this. It's called New Thought. It's called metaphysics, but it's just a reminder of ancient wisdom. And one of the questions that I had was, what is my purpose? Why am I here? I need to know what my purpose is. I don't know what it is. And I was determined. And then I realized I'm a teacher. I'm here to teach. I'm a storyteller. The storyteller part came much later on because I didn't think I was a storyteller. But boy, asked me one question. And I'll do a TED talk. And it's all going to make sense. And when I finish, you have everything you need. Because as a storyteller, I'm tapping into the unknown. Like a songwriter, they tap into the music that is everywhere. That is connected to the universe. So this work I've been doing, I do it through podcast. We started with our own radio. My former wife and I, we had a radio station called Life Conversations Radio. Do it through workshops, work with children, work with adults, with people who had physical disabilities. We worked with people. We went to schools and would go from one grade to another. A whole school had the little new Beetle and had was about 16 djembe drums in different sizes, and I'll squeeze it in, and people would look at me and say, "How are you getting all those drums in there?" But I just have to take my time. I'll tell my former wife's that ambassador, and like, just put that. That's fine. I got it. Well, she knew anyway. And I used to work at UPS in Atlanta, so nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. So the skills that I learned from UPS, because we use every hole. You put a little box in the tiny hole that when you lean. So anyway, we create walls in the truck so that when you hit it, I was going to say something else, but I won't go into that. It's tight. And the idea is for when the truck is moving, nothing falls. So every little nook and cranny, we got to squeeze something in there. So that came handy. So recently, just doing some work and refining my work, I realized there's 4 pillars to my work. And I'm going to kind of rush through this a little bit, or not. We'll see what happens. So 4 pillars. The first one is redefining love. Redefining love is a process of understanding love in a new way, mature love. The love that goes beyond feelings and emotions. She broke my heart. He broke my heart. I'll never love again. I'm talking about the kind of love that heals you. The kind of love that holds you when you're feeling helpless. When you don't, it's like, you don't even have to know that this love is there, but if you do the work in advance, something in you reminds you that you're not alone. The love that heals and harmonizes. The love that causes you to love the oppressed and the oppressor. The love that inspires you to love the abused and the abuser. I know that's a high love. That's like, no, child. I can see a black woman in my head right now. I ain't made for that. We're all made for love. We're created from love. We just get to choose if we want to release that kind of love. And the only love we are going to feel, the only love you're going to experience, the only love that we are going to experience is the love that we are releasing, that we are allowing. So when you look at it and say, the world needs some more love, what's really going on in the world? What you're saying is, I am not releasing enough love. Because if I was releasing enough love, I would see more of it. And it's not about putting your head in the sand, but it's recognizing that there's so much more. I think sometimes we forget. We forget that. If there wasn't more love, if life wasn't really balanced, the way the world will look will be far different than what it is right now. I know that it's easy to say that, there's more evil than good in the world. And we even say stuff like, the good people die first. That's BS. Embrace the BS and let it grow your mind. Let it grow your heart. Let it grow your consciousness. In fact, nobody's good or bad. We're just who we are. You are. God is. You are. Those labels don't live in God. Is fire good or bad? Is water good or bad? Well, of course water is not bad. Well, if water floods your house, you may have a different opinion. Yeah, man, this water messed up my mobile devices. This water messed up my flat screen. Life itself is neutral. We make it. We tell ourselves whatever we need to tell ourselves about life so that we can stay sane. Not a judgment, but it's important to be aware of the message that you're telling yourself. So the kind of love that even when you feel like you effed up, that you can somehow reach out to somebody because love is telling you not so. You didn't mess up. You just made a mistake. Love is a force. It's a vibration. It's an energy. And the intensity of the love that you experience is going to be determined by how much you're allowing in or out. Love is only looking for an outlet, and you are it. That's first pillar, redefining love. Second pillar is life as a spiritual practice. Your life is a spiritual practice. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything that happened to you or happening for you, however you want to say, will lead to your liberation if you learn to embrace it. And embrace it doesn't mean you accept things that you don't like. It's just recognizing, oh my God, this shit is too much. But I know it will pass because it always does. Even the great things pass. All of life as you can use as your spiritual practice. And that's my teaching. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. When people are doing this conditional love things, love is unconditional. We know that. We say, yeah, love is unconditional. I want a man, a woman who can love me unconditionally. I love people to love me. I want people to love me unconditionally. Yet we put a condition on the ones that we want to love us conditionally. I want a man who can love me unconditionally. First, you're giving him condition on how to love you. So you're asking for something you're not even willing to give at the beginning. He must, she must do this or that. Yes, it's okay to have preference, but unconditional love just for the sake of loving. Well, if you're not clear about your vision, if you don't have boundaries, people walk over you. Well, that's a story you can release if you want to. And even when you're clear about your boundaries, you may experience somebody else when you feel like they walked over you. So your boundaries doesn't always protect you from people walking over you. I'm not saying don't have boundaries. In I think it's Your Deepest Intent by Reverend Deborah L. Johnson, or maybe it's The Sacred Yes. There's a part where it says the boundaries that you use to keep people out keeps you in. The wall, actually, no. The wall that you use to keep people out keeps you in. So you can't connect. So you feel disconnected. So your life is a spiritual practice if you choose it to be. That's what it is. It's a spiritual experience. We are all on a spiritual journey, whether we know it or not. And that's why I say when I started my spiritual journey consciously, even those who say they don't believe in when we die, I think there's nothing. In fact, I think those people are genius when they say that. There is nothing when you die. You go back to nothing. What is nothing to you? That's the question. Because nothing is constantly evolving and revolving to be something as you. As long as you open up for nothing to be something through you. God can only do for us what God can do through us. The divine, the universe, the great I am can only do for you what it can do through you. If you want someone to be loving and you're like, I want them to be loving first. Nah, I'm not going to leave myself vulnerable. I'm too sensitive for that shit. Nah, you got to show me some love first. You ain't going to experience love. You ain't going to experience love. But the minute we drop the mask and we choose to offer the respect, the compassion, the listening ear, to listen differently, to listen to something more than just what the ego is saying, we get to represent our ancestors, because we're always doing it. The question is, how are you representing your ancestors? So the first pillar is redefining love as life as a spiritual practice. And the third one is vision with action. I don't even know if I said that. I think I did. It just was in my space. You have a vision. Vision gives you direction. So from a human perspective, you may know where you're trying to go, but if you don't take the step, it's just going to be a dream. It's going to, oh yeah, I know where I'm trying to go, but things are just hard right now. Maybe one day, 50 years later, maybe one day, 80 years later, maybe one day. And the universe like, okay, yeah, maybe one day. You've got to take the action. And the excuse of trying to be, well, people are going to talk about me. People are talking about you anyway. One or two or three of them. But most people don't even have time to talk about you because they're too busy worrying about you talking about them while you're worried about them talking about you. So y'all ain't even thinking about each other. Well, you're thinking about each other, but you're not thinking about yourself is what I mean. Well, I'm worried what people are going to say. So what about you? Why don't you do what you want to do? Well, I just don't want people judging me. Well, people talk about you. What about you? Well, my family members, they're mean sometimes. What about you? Well, you don't understand what happened to me in the past. We're constantly talking about other people who are busy worrying about what you think about them while you're worrying about what they think about you. So we're not even focusing. But when you have a vision for your life, for your business, for your relationship, whatever it is, and you put action behind it, you don't even have to know how. You don't have to know how. Ooh, I can share. I'm going to share personal experience right now, but let me look in the chat first. Let me take a breath. Okay, Nappy, you've been following me since 2012? I want to investigate you now. Give me some clues. I know you said your name is Pat, but I only know the Pat that I think you are is the Pat from Hillside, but I don't think so. Especially if you've been following, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Personal experience. Okay, I'll just share it. It's really not a big deal, but somehow I feel a little bit of like, woo. So for a long time, many, 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 many years ago, way before I painted this, in UK, they call whiteout typics. And I have a friend, Zena, she goes by the name Mother of Abundance. We were talking one day. She said, "I don't even understand why you got typics on your chin." Because I know it's not white. But anyway, I've always thought of property investment. I've always thought, I want to own properties and invest. But my story was, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. The idea comes up, I don't have the money. I hear other people doing this, like, that'd be really good, but I don't have the money. And those things don't have the money, can't afford it, is a life. It's not only a dream killer, it will kill your life. It will drain your life. And then, I cut a long story short, it wasn't until I decided that I am ready to learn more that things starts to show up. I had someone send me some information and saying, oh, this guy teaches people how to invest. This was maybe a little over a month ago now. He teaches people how to buy properties and find properties to sell. I was like, And they said, well, I'm not going to book an appointment because they're going to ask you how much you're making on a monthly basis. And right now, my money's kind of funny. In fact, my money has a comedy club. They didn't say all that. That's me saying that. And I said, yeah, I think my money has a comedy club too, but I'm still going to go. So I booked an appointment. I felt a little bit of nervousness, like, ooh. And I just said, I'll just tell them what my income is. In my mind, it's like, I don't know if there's going to be enough, but okay. I booked the appointment. We had the conversation. The guy didn't call. He has coaches that he works with. And this guy basically teaches people the tricks and maybe not tricks, but what you need to know in order to be a property investor, property sourcing, just different ways to do it. They talked about something called bridging loan that I've never heard about before. Anyway, the bridging loan got me excited. Doesn't matter. You don't have to have money down. You can use bridging loan. They didn't tell me about all the other factors that probably would have scared me, because when you're selling stuff, you want to get people excited. I'm cool. I have no judgment of it. The training was almost £2,000. That's probably about, I don't know, I want to say 3,500, give or take something, dollars. And just getting off that call, I just felt so inspired. Like, I can do this. But I don't know if I can give you 300 pounds right now and then 500 pounds next month. That's a lot of money. I shared it in a group that I'm part of on WhatsApp. Like, oh, I had a conversation today. I'm really excited and really looking into property. I've been wanting to do it for so many years, and now I feel like I'm ready. Somebody else in that group reached out to me. It's like, before you pay for anything, come to me, because I've done all sorts of training. I've got all kinds of resources. I got it all. I said, thank you. I'm going to be reaching out to you. And then I spoke to another friend who we were trying to start a property investment WhatsApp group. And we were moving in that direction, but things had got quiet. So after having that call with this coach, and I was getting really excited, it's like, how can I make this happen? How can I bring the money in so I can be in this training? And with all the other things that I was trying to do, I spoke to a friend, and she said, well, the group that we started is kind of quiet right now, but she's hoping that we'll get back and start moving forward. A few days later, she sent me an email of an organization that is called it networking meeting about property investment. I looked at it one time and paid. It was £10, about maybe $13. I booked it right there and then, which reminds me I need to book for the next one. And I went last Thursday. It was the best £10 I've ever spent in a long time, because the information, I actually met with people. It's not people who are just going to train. They don't have an official training, but they train through sharing what they've learned. They're training through, you can talk to them. They gave me numbers. I'm part of a WhatsApp group where they're telling me. So I told them, this is my situation. How do I start? Give me all sorts of resources to start walking that path. And it looked like it just happened out of the blue. No, I decided I was ready. And the universe, the divine God said, finally, what we're praying for is already here. The fact that we can think about it, to pray about it, it's something so much more. God in you, as you, your ancestors saying the time is now. But sometimes we talk about what we think we don't have, so we don't think we can do it. And what's the last pillar, I hear you ask? Be seen, SEEN. Be heard. Be you, belonging. You're here to show up. You're here to shine. And the way you show up is going to be different from how other people show up. I show up by being on camera. There was a time I was like, oh gosh, I'll never do camera. Ooh, I can't. I mean, actually, there was a time where I'm saying, I don't want to. I like the idea of having a microphone, but it used to scare the mess out of me. Even while I was doing radio, even while I was doing shows on a daily basis, nervousness. But there was something in me. There was a vision. There's a voice. There's something that wants to speak, that wants to express, that is bigger than my limitation, my own self-judgment, my own smallness. I knew I had to yield to it. I knew I needed to yield to it. And I kept yielding and yielding and yielding. And it's like just putting the reps in. Just keep doing the work. Keep pushing and stretching. And then you develop your core. And then your muscles. You don't have to go on the IG going, check this out. I put in the work. I hustle. You can. You show up. People see you that you've been putting the work in. You're here to be seen. You're here to represent your ancestors, to represent your godness, to represent God, the divine. You have something to say. Be heard. You have something to say. Your voice matters. It doesn't matter what they're saying in the world, on the news, whoever's saying it, your parents, your grandparents, your brother, your sister, your girlfriend, your best friend. If it makes you go, I thought I was worthy, but you just cut me right down. It's BS. Give thanks for the BS, because you really need the BS to grow you. It's all it is manure. Take it. Decide that you're here to be seen. Decide that you have something to say. And when you say, I need to be heard, not because you want people to hear you, it's just because just by your nature, when you show up, when you speak with your body, when you speak with your eyes, when you speak with your mouth, when you show up, somebody feels something about you and they want to know more. When you do that, you can't help. It's not necessarily like you be seen first and then you be heard and then you can be you. It's all happening simultaneously. Being you is an evolving thing. You're learning more about yourself. There are things that I feel comfortable saying now out loud while doing shows that I wouldn't have said before. There are times, especially the last few episodes, where I've talked about pronouncing my name correctly. It still feels a little bit weird to me. And sometimes after the show, I'm like, oh, gosh. And especially when people say it the way they think it sounds and it doesn't sound right, I'm like, ah. But I can handle it. There was a time it was just Ade. My name is Ade. I love when my father calls me Ade. Ade. Now, for those of you who are practicing, let me tell you this. Here's a trick that will make it good for you and I. When you say Ade, because I don't know why people think they need to sound constipated or suddenly have to go back to the continent. Like, Ade. It's like, can't breathe, okay? You don't have to be constipated. If you want to say my name correctly, take a breath. If this first time you're hearing it, if you're not used to having people with that name from the continent, take a breath and think of something in your life that makes you feel good. And then when you catch it, say my name, Ade. Say it again. Say my name. Say my name. But if you can't go to that place of love or pleasure, don't do it. Call me Ade. Ade. I'll take it. But, and somebody told me, make sure people pronounce it right. Sometimes I get tired. It's like, yeah, move on. So the fourth pillar is be seen, be heard, be you, belong, belong in. When you allow yourself to be seen, when you allow yourself to be heard, when you choose to be you, that's happening simultaneously, you will know where you belong. It's a sort of belonging, it's beyond the intellectual thing. You move through life because you know you belong. Doesn't matter if you were the only white kid that grew up in the only black kid that grew up in a white neighborhood. I was looking at a picture yesterday and I was sharing it with my beloved, and I was actually, look how God works. That's weird. These pictures are next to my computer. I wasn't thinking about it. I just thought about the picture and I reach over anyway. And I picked this picture. I was looking at this yesterday. I'm going to show it to you, those of you on IG. Let me see if you can see it. I wasn't thinking about this. Okay, guess which one is me? I am the one with the fly-looking shorts right here. Wait, oops. Right, nope, not that. Go this way. That's me. Like, what's going on here? And why do they have this? I don't know what they have around my neck. So this is, I don't know, maybe 1972, maybe. I'm looking at the age, and maybe 3 or 4. These two people, I'm using my mouse as if you could see my mouse. Okay, wait. This person up here and this one up here, I'm going to show it to you on IG in a minute. This is I called it, I'm closer to her. Wait. I'm closer to her, but not her. Her name is Jane, and that's Carol. This is backwards. That's Carol. Carol, they're the daughters of my nanny that I lived with. My parents were living in London, and I was living in Hastings. Hastings is about an hour and a half from London. So I was with my nanny. Her name is Pat, P-A-T, Pat, Nappy, and I wonder if that's Pat. Anyway, I was living with her. So Monday to Friday I was with her. And then the weekend we'll come to London to be with my biological parents. And then sometimes my parents will come. After a while, they would stay over in Hastings. Hastings was a white town. I stood out like a sore thumb, like a black boy living in. So I don't know what was going on here. I remember him. Well, where is it? Okay, what's his name? It's gone now, but he was living with my nanny too. Actually, I'm going to show another picture. I wasn't, oh my goodness. I'm sharing too much of my business. Oh, sorry, IG. I didn't show that to you. I'm the one with shorts over here. And that's Jane. And that's Carol. And over there, the little black boy. That's me, the little black boy with shorts. And Jane is the tall one in blue, and Carol is the one in like orange. Okay. This is where I grew up. And there were stories that I heard about how people treated my nanny, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Let me do it IG first because I forget. That's my nanny carrying me. I am putting my business out today. I don't know what happened. But anyway, Pat. That's Pat. Hold on one second, YouTube. And but I've often thought about what was it like to be a young little black boy in Hastings. What was mostly a white town. My nanny talked about stories when they said, "Isn't he lovely? Isn't he lovely? Is he yours?" And she likes messing with them. I think that's where I got some of my feistiness from. So when they'll say, "Is he yours?" and she would say, "Yes," and they just turn their nose up. It's like, this white woman, what are you doing having a black child? You're with a black man. Why? So here's my nanny. Let's see. Yeah, it's not the best. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Look at them chubby cheeks. Boy, I was fed good. So that's Pat. Anyway, there's another picture here, but I'm not showing that. It's just another picture of me. But I wasn't trying to, that was not part of the plan. Because my plan, it's not the bigger picture. How did we even get on there? It's coming back to me. So this whole thing is, I forgot. Yeah, you belong. Let me go back to my pillows and it will come back to me. Actually, let me look at what's in the chat room first. So Ashley said, that's beautiful. She said, just now during this podcast, my niece was born. I have been wondering who she is. I like that. Can you just, I want to encourage everybody to just think about that. Whether you're the one giving birth or you know somebody giving birth, a family member, and step into that consciousness of wondering who this soul is, who this soul is going to be when they show up. Ashley said, waiting for her arrival, the magic and anticipation, knowing all that she will bring on this day. Exactly. Life moving forward, indeed. Life is moving forward. Oh, so we met at Agape Chat. Okay. I have to Google. So I see you on YouTube, Nappy and Free. I think I've seen you before. Maybe in Ricky's on Ricky's show. Yep, Jackie was also on that. Jackie was also on that. Jackie in the chat room is, well, New Jace in the chat room, Nappy and Free, is Jackie. But anyway. Oh, that's so sweet. Nappy and Free said, thank you for saying this. It serves my highest good. I have been very reluctant to speak. Please speak. Yep, sometimes people sound just constipated. It's like, don't push my name out like that. Relax. Just yeah. Quali said I always say her name correctly. That's why when I meet people, I ask them their name. What does it mean? How do you like it to be pronounced? Some people would say Quali, but Quali's name, that's how it was given to her. And you honor people by calling them by their names. I know it's difficult. There's some names that I don't get right. I have known people, of course, that have a different name because they're from a different country, it's a different language, that I can tell. I feel like I'm not pronouncing it right. But they would say, yeah, that's it. But I can tell they're like, you know what? I'm still trying to pull back the thought I was trying to make earlier, but I'm going to let it go. They'll say, yeah. Because that's just part of the nature of living in a country where they don't speak your language. Yes, Anitra, you got to say my name with love and pleasure only. You know, you got to think of my name and go, yeah, I remember that dude. Where is he again? I used to remember when he was in Atlanta in Agape Chat, or I saw him at a workshop. I saw him drumming. I really enjoyed talking with him. What's his name again? I did. Yes, that's my name. Say my name. But when you do, don't say my name. Don't say my name. Uh, Napier Free said you were a little tick. What I mean? What I mean? What are you talking about? Yes, I must have been about 3 or 4. Thank you. Said I was cute. Yep. Wait. Hold on a minute. You were a cutie. Oh, I was a cutie. What about now? Well, my beloved think I am. She thinks I'm cute. So that's good enough. Yes, I was. Let me screen that. She said I was an adorable baby. Man, I look at myself. I'm like, I came out representing my ancestors. Does anybody remember the point I was trying to make? You probably can't because I get in this space. But anyway, let me go through the pillars again. Redefining love. Life as a spiritual practice. Everything about your life, your lived experience is for you. Sanjay, welcome. Vision with action. You got to have a vision. Actually, you don't have to have a vision. But if you want to move yourself through life, be very clear. Listen to the vision. Listen. Michael Beckwith has this technology called visioning. Use that. I strongly recommend that. There are many ways to catch your vision. Yeah, you can have a vision board based on somebody else's pictures and somebody else's house. That's fine because we're all connected anyway. The idea of a vision board is to wake something up inside of you so you can see what you're putting on the board and so much more. Because you may think you want the Bentley or you need the Bentley or you deserve the Bentley, but the Bentley can be the worst thing that ever happened to you. Now, it's not going to be wasted. You're going to learn something about it, but you may need something else, a car that hasn't been designed yet, a car that hasn't been manufactured. And then one day you drive and you're like, Tesla to Tesla. What's a Tesla? What's a Tesla? Wow. There's so much more that is waiting for us, but sometimes we take our own conditioning, our own limited perspective to the divine. And we wonder why the prayer is not being answered. Have a vision that scares the mess out of you. And when your vision scares the mess out of you, the best way to ease the fear and the nervousness is to stand up and say yes and be seen and be heard. You start living you. You be you. I remember the point I'm trying to make now. You find that you belong, whether you're the only black boy in the community or not, the only black girl in the community. Maybe you married into a different culture. Maybe you lived in a neighborhood where your parents, your family stood out. We all belong. But if you evaluate who you are based only on what your physical eyes can see or societal conditioning, you're doing yourself a disservice. There is so much more to you. You can put an end to war if you allow it. You can put an end to all the isms, sexism, racism, injustice. You, just you. Little old you, yes. And some of the things that we're trying to put an end to, we already have what it takes to end it. But there's some people who are invested in keeping it going. Whether it's a health challenge, whether it is discrimination, injustice. Some folks want the prison to be full with people so they can make money. There's some people making money every time a bomb or missile is dropped. Some people say, ka-ching. It's a good opportunity for countries to say, gas is going up. Because, this is why. And we don't have anything to debunk what they're telling us. Maybe it's true. We don't know. Maybe it's not. Let me look in the chat. Anitra, are you speaking to Pat in the chat? So I want to, okay. I Anitra, I've seen you on my page, but I don't know if we've actually talked. However, Nappy M3, it's like, I want to find out who you are. So if you have a video, share it with me. You can share the link in here or share it through YouTube or on you are on YouTube right now. You can share it there. Thank you. Nappy M3 said, you're still cute. Now, you're still a cutie. That makes me feel kind of funny, but I like the energy of it. Yes, Anitra, all that matters is your own opinion. And because all that matters is your opinion, make sure that your opinion about yourself is uplifting. Why? Because you can. If it's not, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because nobody knows you like you. And if you say, but that's the truth, I ain't shit. I'm not that. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. Okay, good. Do you want to change that? No, I'm good. Okay, cool. Cool. If you want to change it, you have to change it. You do the work. Give yourself an opportunity. It's a lifetime process to redefine love. What does love mean? The people who said they love you, were they expressing conditional love or unconditional love? And all that happened to you, whether you say, oh, you have no idea about the generational trauma, but even that can be used to transform you. You're an alchemist. Now that you know that, have a vision that transcends the pain, the struggles. Have a vision. Put action behind it. Be the first one in the family to do something different or do what you're doing. I used to say, I'm the first one to do this kind of work that I'm doing. I'm the first one to create a business, start a business based on my natural gift and talent. But I've since learned that's rubbish. I don't know. Maybe the way I do it this time, but there's got to be somebody in my lineage who was speaking this truth, this wisdom many, many, many years. And they did it the way they did it. And that memory lives in me. And I'm the one to amplify that. My siblings, they get to amplify whatever they design to amplify. And sometimes we don't. We turn it down. Because it's like, ooh, if I speak, then I'm going to be seen. If I'm seen, then people are going to say, who am I? And then I want to hide. You can't hide your way to peace. Peace of mind is about showing up with all your mess. With all your mess. In fact, the things that you judge about yourself, is what makes you unique. I can't even tell y'all how sometimes I criticize myself when I listen to the show. I don't listen to my show just to listen. Well, let me rephrase that. I listen to my show, especially when I'm editing, but I'm much better. But there was a time I couldn't listen to myself because I didn't like my voice. I was judging myself. I get so excited. I don't finish what I'm saying. I don't finish a thought. I don't say it correctly. I was like, I can't listen to myself. And then people would say, I just love the way you break things down. I love the way you speak. You're such a great communicator. I'm like, what you talking about, Willis? Stop playing with me. That's a sensitive thing. Don't do that. All those things were in my head. It was me going through that. No, you can't hide yourself to peace. Absolutely not. If you hide because you're trying to be peaceful, you be unpeaceful while hiding. It's like belonging. We don't speak up. We don't show up. We judge ourselves, where it's like, I was saying about myself, the things that I judge about myself and the willingness to still get in front of the camera and the microphone and still keep speaking. I don't care now. I don't care in a way that's beyond intellect. I don't care if people judge it because I know I have to be a mouthpiece for what's coming through me. It gives me life. When artists say to you, I do this for you. The singers, the celebrity, I do this for you. If it wasn't for you, there's no me. Well, kind of, yeah, I get it. But no, when you do what you love, you ain't doing it for people. You're doing it because you have no choice but to do it. Love loves for the sake of loving. So when you allow that love to be expressed and is received, it energizes you to do more. Like, oh, people like it. You get so comfortable in expressing your love because you're allowing yourself to be used. People are feeling it and their vibration is lifted up and they give you that love back because what you give, you're only giving it to yourself. And you just come out. I'm doing it because of you. No, you're not. And yes, you are. Because when you do something for others and you don't love and enjoy, it will kill you. It might not take you out physically, but I think it's actually worse. It will take you out emotionally and mentally. That's my saving grace. Don't be out of me not being free. She said, Ade, I so admire your ability to express yourself, especially when you laugh at yourself. Woo wee! I don't do it intentionally, but I found that it helps me calm down. Laughter and it's like there's the wise part of me is like, calm down. It's not that deep. Just relax. Just go through all of that crap. Just calm the fuck down. It's okay. It's okay. So yes, you drop F-bombs here and there. Yeah, you can have that, and when you talk about spiritual stuff, you can do that. It's okay. Some people don't like it. It's okay. You've got to give yourself permission to be yourself fully, however that is for you. Why? Because that's why you were created. Because when God created you, God said it was good. You are good. Check back to your beginning story. In the beginning, you. Who were you? Where was the beginning? Was it when you came out the womb? Was it when the sperm and the egg came together? Was it when you were going? Where was the beginning? The beginning is wherever you choose the beginning is. When you find yourself tripping about who you are and how you're showing up, ask yourself, when I was created, was I good? Or was I traumatized? Was I bad? Maybe I was evil. Oh, well, my family has some generational curse, so yeah, maybe I was cursed. Maybe I'm unworthy. Maybe I'm ugly. Maybe I'm too dark. Maybe I'm too light. Maybe I'm too tall. Maybe I'm too short. Maybe I'm too skinny. I'm the fat one in the family. Oh my God, I'm smart. Oh my God, I'm intelligent. Oh my God, I'm worthy. Oh my God, I'm deserving. I'm whole. I'm perfect. I'm a divine being. You get to ask yourself. That is the process of being you. And you return. It's a journey back to yourself. The truth about you. Sorry, somebody said to me about these bracelets and the noise. I don't hear it when I'm doing the show, but I heard it now. The truth about you is always going to be true about you. You are magnificent. You are representing the divine. The divine is your ancestors. Okay, getting ready to wrap up. I am intoxicated right now. Yep, that's right. Being unique. Stop. Oh, I can take my brother. Phenomenon 215. Is that from Philly? I don't know. We spend a lot of time and energy meditating to be perfect, to be whole, to be loving, to be caring, to be compassionate, where what we really need to do, and I'm not saying don't do that, we just need to remember when we are being still, we're making room for the things that makes us unhappy sometimes. That we can see the divine, we can see love, we can see truth in that. What makes you unique is the way you do what you do. That's your special sauce. That's your special thing. And that's the way God is choosing to express itself. You are a unique way in which God is expressing itself. You are a unique way in which God is telling an amazing story. Life is a never-ending story. As Ashley shared earlier, she said life moves forward. Now her niece becomes another storyteller about this thing called the divine. Tell your story, be seen, be heard. Be you, and you will find where you belong. Because those who can't stand you being you, they will disappear. They will talk about you or walk away. And you want that. Phenomenon 215 said, I couldn't stand the way I sounded whenever I edited my videos. Woo, brother, I hear you. I hated my voice, but then later I realized my uniqueness, and I have come to appreciate it. And with me, I got this Nigerian, British, American accent. Now, Americans don't hear the accent. I'm like, I don't hear no American accent. The British like, I love your American accent. And Nigerians are just like, you're not Nigerian. Oh, Shomowa now. Oh, Shomowa. I'm like, hello, I am. Thank you very much. Basically, Onshomowa means you're not one of us. Omo means child, but really it means you're not one of us. So you talk about struggling with belonging. Where do I belong? Yes, I was born in UK, but it's my connection, heart connection. I sometimes say maybe it's because my connection, my experience when I was a child. I don't know. It's okay. I've been gone from Nigeria since 1986. It's like, should I say out loud I'm a Nigerian? I mean, I've gone so long and lived in America for so long that not having Nigerian friends, that I didn't speak Yoruba, even though I know it. And then when I came back now around my sisters and my dad, I still find myself stumbling. And sometimes I'm like, ugh. But thankfully, they hear me. They know what I'm trying to say. And then sometimes I'm like, flip that. I just change to English. But I've made a point to speak the language because I can. But my tongue is like, we haven't lifted that weight in a long time. Kilo and so me mo. That flows. What are you saying? I don't know. My father says that sometimes. Kilo we. He would say that to my sister, which used to be a little bit of a trigger. Like, I'm talking to my father, speaking in English. And he was like, Kilo we. And that man is smart and intelligent. And he was like, what is he saying? I'm like, oh, you know, I have issues with the way I communicate, and you're going to do that, and you're my dad? But now, so you see, anyway. Okay, let me look at this chat, and I'm about to wrap this up. I am drunk. Misty said, Ade, thank you so much for sharing today. I've always refused to watch any video I post. See, you guys can relate. A couple of weeks ago, I was in front of people live, and even though I could tell people were touched by what I said and the sound bowl, I wouldn't watch the video. We truly are our hardest critic. Girl, you better preach. Ashley said, perfect is a trap, a dead end. Run towards the unknown and discover how imperfect you are. And then you realize that imperfection is the beauty in the world of art. It's the things that has this sort of this uniqueness. You are limitless. No, you're a limited, limitless being. Like there's none like you. There's only one of you. You're a rare gem, like a diamond. There's none. You just like, the way the way you're made and created. Yes. I think we owe it to ourselves by really looking at our own creations. One of the things I've learned by now listening to my shows, I don't do it often, but sometimes I'm like, relax. Just stop it. Just stop. Is I get to see things or hear things that I could have said differently or maybe correct on the next show. Yeah, I think I'm done. I will tell you, since people are talking about uniqueness and you're recognizing your voice, you're like, yes, I got something to say. I can even say better than Ade you say. No, I can say better. See, I still default to the old way. I can say better than the way Ade says it. Ade, yeah. And I'm like, you can't, because we're different. We're unique. You can only say it your way. I want to have a podcast. Libsyn.com, LIBSYN.com. The promo code is Ade. If you sign up, check it out, look it up. Don't just go sign up. Read about them. They're expanding. I've been using them now for almost 4 years now. If you do decide to sign up, you get 1 month, at least a month free. You might get longer than that, depending on when you sign up. What I will say is sign up on the 2nd of the month, because then you get that whole month. Like, let's just say, let's make it easy. This is March, right? Wow. April. Let's say you sign up April 2nd. You get the whole of April free, and then the whole of May free. If you sign up now, you just get from today's the 22nd, you get the rest of the month, and then the whole of April. Okay? Lucky Taylor. Lucky Taylor Ceramics. Welcome. And tomorrow, Wednesday, join Ricky Byers. No, that's not it. Somebody needed to see that again. Going on. Somebody's messing with me. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, be who you are. That's for sure. But join Ricky Byers and I every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow for me, those of you in UK, is 1 a.m. But it's usually, once we go back, the time moves forward here in UK, then it's back to 2 a.m. So that's 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and 2 a.m. UK from next week. Tomorrow it's 1 a.m. To find out more, just go to youtube.com/Ricky Byers, or Google Ricky Byers on Facebook, or Facebook Ricky Byers. I don't know. Oh, thank you, Drea. Nice to see you. Yeah, be who you are, and everybody will disappear. What? Brother Damien, it's nice to see. Oh, I didn't even see your picture. Now I see. I'm looking now. I recognize it. I felt you, man. At 215, I knew that had to do with Philly. Are you Philly or still in Egypt? Anyway, it's time to release this conversation. I don't know if there's anything else I need to say, but whatever I need to say, if I don't say it, you will catch it or I will post it. And I just want to thank you all for being here. Thank you. Yes, Lord. The more mature I get, the more I'm allowing Spirit to speak through me. And this whole thing about representing my ancestors, I mean, I'm talking like as an African man who has been away from Nigeria and talking about African spirituality. It's like, yes, and I've done readings. I've heard you have a unique way of delivering the message, and I had to surrender to that. Kwali, thank you very much. Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate you. I love you too, Drea. Love you. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you, and I thank God for you. Whatever you do, be you. I'm hearing Ricky's song in my head. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. Take a little time with the goddess. Take a little time with the divine. The divine is you. I want to talk about you as the Holy Spirit, but I'm not, because I'm out of time. But I'll just say, you are the Holy Spirit in the body called the temple. Check out my videos. You can see it on YouTube. I think I did it last Friday. I talked about that. Thank you for being here. Share the show. Like it. I appreciate that. And if you're feeling generous to do let me see if I can find what I need to hear. If you're feeling generous, you want to exchange the energy through money. Cash App is £, not the $, £. Google it. Google will tell you. Google knows everything. Life Coach Ade. Or Life Coach Ade. And then PayPal is paypal.me/Ade. Ade Anifowoshi. Bear with me while I pronounce my name. Isn't that weird? Habit. That's why we need to be gentle with ourselves. PayPal. ADEANIFOWOSE. And what is it on Venmo? Venmo is similar. I think it's Life Coach Ade or Ade Anifowoshi. Google it, you'll find me. Thank you. It's time to go. It's time to release the show, because that's the way I flow. I don't know what I'm doing. That's not even my lane, but I was doing it that time. Whatever you do, take a little time with God. Be who you are. Show up. Shine. Let people hear you. Show up. When you show up, I shut up. I'm shutting up right now. I'm out. Oh, boy. Here we go.
Be who you are. Let your light shine with so much more.